my channel. I'm Veronica with nurturingconnectionshomeschool.com, where I share encouragement and resources to help you connect with what matters most. Now today we are talking about how to set up a homeschool agenda. So this is a Plan With Me session. I'm going to take you step by step through the process that I'm going to personally use to create agendas for my 7-year-old daughter who's going into 2nd grade. Now, before I get started with that, I'm going to share with you just a couple of other things that I've used over the years that have helped us stay on track. Many years ago when they were younger, we used agenda cards, and so these are an older version. I actually have a newer one with picture cues that I used last, and those are available on my website for free if you want to download them. It basically has the subjects on there and then some picture cues to help little ones know what they're doing next. And what I would do with these is laminate them. I would put some magnets on the back and stick them on the refrigerator, and then we would just pull them down throughout the day until we got to the very, very end. So they were able to track our progress and start really understanding the idea of keeping a routine, staying on track, accomplishing our goals, and so forth. Now at first I would just put how many minutes a day we'd spend on that, and then sometimes I would put the actual time just to guide me throughout the day. Now as they got a little older, we would do agendas, which is what I'm doing here with my 2nd grader. And then we transitioned over into student checklists. So I have a video on that if you're interested in finding out more, but I may update you on the latest and what it looks like now as I prepare them for the upcoming school year. So what I do with my older children, these are going into 5th and 8th grade, is I put together a homeschool notebook that looks like this. It's pretty plain at first. They like to decorate it with stickers and so forth. And then inside their notebooks, well, first of all, I bind it with the ProClick system so that we can add to it throughout the year. So if you're not familiar with ProClick, it looks like this. I'll link it below. Basically, you just punch those holes in there. You purchase the spines separately. And the neat thing about these spines is that they do click shut, but when you want to make changes, you just pop them open and you can add papers and move things around and then close them back up as needed. So we use that for these particular notebooks so that we can make adjustments throughout the year. But at the very, very beginning, it starts off with a recitation page. This is based on Charlotte Mason's I am, I can, I ought, I will. And so I just put a scripture that goes with each of those that we like to recite at the beginning of our homeschool day. This is a freebie if you want to download that for your own use. We also have routines and chores. We have a reference page that just has like how to spell numbers and dates and abbreviations and special greetings and things like that. This was especially helpful when they were really, really little and wanted to write a birthday card for somebody, and they'd always ask, how do you spell this and how do you spell that? So I created this little reference page so they could just go and start copying things down and make special cards and things like that for others. We have a pray page here, so I talked a little bit more about this in my last video, but this is also available on my website. We have a food prep section, and then we get to the actual checklists. And here I just have their subjects, all of their activities or assignments for the week, and they would just cross them off. So this has been especially helpful. They like tracking their own progress here, and then it's a running record of what they've done in this particular school year. Now let's back it up again to the agenda that I'm using with my 7-year-old. This particular form will be with me. It's something that we're going to use together to guide her through that process as she prepares to be more independent like her older brother and sister. Now we're making 5 different agendas. And the reason for that is because no 2 days look alike. We have some days where we go to the park. We have some subjects that we only cover 2 days a week and some 3 days a week and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and break that process up where I'm going to plug everything into a particular day, and then it's going to go into these particular forms. So we're going to have an agenda for Monday, an agenda for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And basically it's just going to be a flow of our subjects. These are the subjects we're going to cover, and this is the order in which we will cover them. We're not going to put any times on these forms because it's not specific to a time. Depending on the day, we may break up those assignments. We may do them all at once. It just depends on what we have going on. But what we will be able to do here is track our progress. So I will laminate each of these, and then on that particular day, we'll pull up that agenda, and then we will check off our progress as we go. And then of course we can erase it and use it the following week as needed. So that's my plan for these. If you have any questions as I work through, please comment below. I want to make sure that this is helpful to you. But without further ado, let's go ahead and flip the camera and get started. All of these forms that I'm sharing with you are a part of my homeschool bucket planning system. So what I wanted to do was to create a system that was already in order and would just take me step by step through that planning process when it came time to plan at the beginning of each homeschool year and then each term and so forth. Now, this particular form is a part of the yearly plan forms, and basically it's just a curriculum overview. So I went ahead and filled this out for my daughter. You can see it here. I just put the 9 buckets that we are targeting each year along this side. And then I put the curriculum that she'll be using if it's a specific curriculum. So for example, for discipleship, she's going to be using Where Faith Grows. Now, I didn't feel the need to fill in all this, but I did want to make note of the fact that this would be done 3 times per week. For reading, we're using a variety of resources. I'm actually working on Nurturing Connections and Reading Level B for her. And in the meantime, she's using some Rod and Staff, the reading lesson. She's just using a number of different resources to support her growth in reading. And she'll be doing that 5 days per week. Same thing with English Language Arts, which includes spelling and handwriting, and that is 5 days per week. Math, she's using The Good and the Beautiful, 5 days per week. I know that they recommend 4, but we are kind of sticking with the 5 just to keep us on track. Now for history, we are continuing with Heart of Dakota, Little Hearts for His Glory. She really liked what we did last year when we were able to do it. So we're just going to continue on with that about 4 days a week. So we might group together some of those history lessons as needed to get these 4 days instead of 5. For science, we're using The Good and the Beautiful, Field and Flowers. That's to be done 1 day per week. For PE and health, we'll be doing Park Day. She really wants to start dance, so we're going to look into that. So we're going to designate about 2 days for that. And then for creative arts, she does art with grandma 1 day a week. Sometimes Heart of Dakota has a neat art project that we want to integrate. We have our picture study cards. So these are the picture study cards that came with my Father's World for grade 1. And so I've used these with my older children. And so I'm going to go ahead and do these with her as well. And then playing skillfully. This is a year of playing skillfully, and it's something we did when she was little, but some of these activities are still a lot of fun, and so we're just going to throw in an activity or 2 here and there throughout the term. So I put 3 to 4 days. She loves creating, she loves crafting, and so I want to make sure to get that in every day almost. And then life skills, we are just using what we have in our bucket planner, and we're just going to designate 1 specific day for that. It's not that we're not working on this all the time, but this is just a part of our daily lives. And so I just want to make sure I am being intentional with any areas that need a little bit more growth or more instruction and so forth. So I'm plugging that in there. Now, after that, I went ahead and used this homeschool schedule form. So this particular form is available for free on my website under member freebies. You can download it if you find it helpful. Once again, I just plugged in everything here, and now I mapped it out onto a specific day. Now I went ahead and put stars here. These are my longer days with her. These are days that maybe the older children are doing something else with a co-op, or they are getting instruction from my father. I mentioned in my group study video that my father would be doing Texas history with them. And so I'd have more time with her on these particular days, whereas over here I have a little bit less time because we may be doing park days or just different things that we have going on. So I took those 3 Bible days and I plugged them in where I felt it would be a good fit. Same thing for history, science, PE and health. You can see I got a little messy here trying to figure out how I was going to plug in art and life skills. And so I went ahead and decided on art Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and life skills on Tuesdays. And then everything else just got plugged in for reading, ELA, and math all the way across the board. Now, once I created this map, then I just use these agenda forms to put together the agendas for each day. So this is super simple. It's nothing fancy. I just took Monday and I went down the list here, but I put it in an order that I felt would be a little bit more effective. So we do want to hit our core subjects every single day. In this particular case, it would be Bible, reading, ELA, and math. And then I plugged in history and art at the bottom there. So this is our core. If all we got through was this and something else, even if it wasn't these two, we would call it a homeschool day. But of course, my intention and my goal is to make sure that we are hitting history those 4 days a week. And so this will help keep me on track. So I did this for Monday. And then I completed this one for Tuesday with Bible. Again, the same routine because I want her to get used to that routine and something that we know what to expect each time. And then history and life skills. And so forth. So it just goes on from there. There's Wednesday, Bible, reading, ELA, math, and then science and art, and so forth. Now, one thing I do have on my site, if you're interested, is this particular schedule form. So this is something we used in the past, kind of matches our decor a little more. And so this is another option of just plugging in those subjects. You could put times if you chose to, or just leave it blank. And then, of course, check it off as you go about your day. So that is the process of putting together the agenda. Once I have these, which I do now, I'm going to go ahead and laminate them, and then they will be ready to go each and every day. We'll just put up, well, actually, I'll laminate them front to back like this, and then I'll just put this on the easel, and we'll check it off, and then we'll just continue on throughout the week. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you stopping by. If you found this helpful or enjoyable, please give me a thumbs up. It's an easy way for me to help get the word out. Other than that, I'd appreciate your comments. I'd love to hear from you, see how things are going for you in your own homeschools and what you'd like to see next. Thanks again. See you next time.